Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Chinese Embassy. Thank you for joining us here tonight to bid farewell to Ambassador Zhang Yesui and Madame Chen Aiqing. We're so glad to have here with us tonight many friends from the US government, Congress, business community, academia, media, think tanks, colleagues from the diplomatic corps, and representatives of the Chinese community in the United States. Thank you all for honoring us with your presence. Ambassador Zhang has indeed a remarkable career, as all of you know, in the United States. In March of 2010, came to the United States to serve as the 9th Chinese ambassador to the United States. Before that, he had been our permanent representative to the United Nations in New York. Over the past 3 years, Ambassador Zhang has worked so hard with his wisdom and insight and effectively with his Chinese, US counterparts, engaged in various effective, high-quality meetings and dialogues with the US government officials, members of Congress, business leaders, academics, and people from all walks of life here, and established good working relationship and personal friendship with them. I think his contribution to China-US relations is remarkable and will be remembered by all of us. Now, to recapture his tenure in the past 3 years, we'd like to invite you to watch a short presentation of a collection of some photos. Please.
Developing China-US relations and remain firmly committed to building the cooperative partnership. I am confident that with joint efforts, China and the United States can break the so-called historical premise that an emerging country and an established power will eventually head towards confrontation. Instead, we can embark on a new model of state-to-state relationship that features peaceful coexistence and win-win cooperation. As to my regrets, I wish I could have visited more states to see the beauty of the country and to get to know more people from all spectrum of the American society. By any standards, I know 12 states in the span of 3 years has not been a good record, but this gives me good reasons to come back. It is truly an inspiring and rewarding experience to have worked with so many of you on so many issues that are important to both of our countries. I want to thank the entire US team and each and every one of you for the great efforts you have put in promoting our bilateral relations. Without your input and contributions, China-US relations would not have been where it is today. I also want to express my sincere gratitude to you for the hospitality and friendship accorded to me and my wife. My wife and I will leave Washington, D.C. with wonderful memories and will cherish your friendship deep in our hearts. Saying goodbye is always difficult, but as Wang Bo, a famous poet of the Tang Dynasty in the 6th century, wrote, "If you have a friend afar who knows your heart, distance cannot keep you two apart." I will miss all of you. My wife and I wish you every success in the years to come, and we look forward to the days when our paths cross again. And thank you very much.
It truly is an honor for me to be able to speak briefly at this wonderful farewell event. Before I begin, I'd like to wish you and the entire Chinese Embassy a happy Chinese New Year. We join you in welcoming the Year of the Snake and look forward to working with you in the days and years ahead. It's an honor for me to have this opportunity to personally thank Ambassador Zhang for his service to the U.S.-China bilateral relationship and to wish him and his wife, Madam Chen, all the very best from all of us at the Department of State. During your time here as ambassador, our two countries have made great strides in our common effort to build a positive, cooperative, and comprehensive bilateral relationship. During your tenure, we have seen an unprecedented number of meetings between our presidents, including President Cruz's historic 2011 visit to the United States, 3 successful rounds of the strategic and economic dialogue, as well as the launch of the strategic security dialogue, and an exchange of vice presidential visits, to name just a few of your many achievements. Ambassador Zhang, you have played a critically important role in ensuring that our crucial bilateral relationship serves our mutual interests, as well as the interests of the whole world. Judging just by the number of times you visited the Department of State during your tenure, you have clearly been a very busy envoy. No doubt this is due to your popularity in our building, but the large crowd assembled today is further evidence of the respect and admiration in which you are held by those who have touched all over this town and across our country. Your personal commitment to the relationship between our two nations and our two peoples has truly been inspiring. There have been exciting and challenging moments over the past 3 years, and we are deeply grateful for your leadership throughout this period. It is the simple fact that there is not an issue of global importance nor an international challenge that does not in some way connect to the U.S.-China bilateral relationship. You have been a central and open and effective channel of communication on challenges that range from Iran and the DPRK to our growing bilateral trade and cultural ties. You have been a great proponent of people-to-people exchanges, championing a connectivity not only between our governments, but also between entrepreneurs, students, scholars, artists, and scientists, that has strengthened our cooperation in ways large and small, and that will produce results for many years to come. I understand that Ambassador Zhang was born in the Year of the Snake, and according to the Chinese tradition, I should be very careful to use only lucky words. So I'd like to reiterate my wish for your good health and fortune in this year and all the years to come. We wish you all the very best in your future endeavors, and I personally am looking forward to our future collaboration. My colleagues from around the United States government will greatly miss working with you, Mr. Ambassador. The crowd here this evening is but a small sampling of the good friends that you made during your time here, and I'm proud to count myself among that honored group. So once again, it truly is an honor for me to bid farewell to Ambassador Zhang, an extraordinary diplomat, and a great friend of the United States, and a great friend of the American people. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Carla Hills, and I have the honor of chairing the National Committee on U.S.-China Relations. And let me say to Ambassador Zhang, Ambassador Chen, Deputy Secretary Burns, the distinguished ambassadors. I spot Ambassador Roy out in the audience, who is a member of our board at the National Committee. And it's a pleasure to see him here as former ambassador to China. But I'm privileged to be here to be able to thank Ambassador Zhang for all he's done in collaboration with the National Committee. The entire purpose and mission of the National Committee is to enhance the bilateral relationship. What we do is to encourage interaction between our two countries. We sponsor congressmen and women to go to China. We encourage that leaders in China come here. We have 10 public school teachers in America go to China and bring the same amount back here. We have track 2 economic dialogues. And what distinguishes our dialogues from those that others may have is that we agree at the end of our discussion. We agree on a consensus, and then we share that consensus with our respective governments. We have a Young Leaders program where we collect about 175 really bright young Chinese graduate students that are in our 50 states across the country. Bring them to Washington for 3 days. And so they can be exposed to the leaders here, public and private, and to get an idea of how foreign policy and other issues are addressed, so that when they go home, they have that they know, but they also know each other. Because when they came to Washington under our auspices, they were all strangers to one another. And it's nice to see how they have stuck together and continued their friendships. I would say that on all of these programs, we have turned to Ambassador Zhang for his help. And we have never had a Young Leaders program where he has not come to talk to those young people, and it makes a difference in their lives. When I talk to people about his excellence, some of them, my colleagues, will say to me, well, you shouldn't be surprised. He had a wonderful academic background at the Beijing Foreign Studies University, and then went on to the London School of Economics. So you would expect to find ambassador. Whereas others say to me, well, you know, he entered the foreign service of China early and rose quickly. And he had postings in the United Kingdom. He was a wonderful ambassador to the United Nations before he came to Washington, so what do you expect? And then I hear others, and I might say this myself, that he has another blessing, and that is his wife, who is a distinguished ambassador in her own right, having served as her country's ambassador to Norway, to the six-party talks, and I don't know another embassy that's had such a dynamic diplomatic duo. I agree with all that Ambassador Zhang has said about the need for enhancing the bilateral relationship. You know, President Obama has frequently stated that the 21st century will be shaped by our two governments. And when you stop to think about whether you're talking about climate change or nuclear limitations, pandemics, trafficking in drugs, whatever social or economic issue you're talking about is going to take the two largest economies working in collaboration. And when President Xi Jinping was here just a year ago in February, he said that the economic bilateral relationship was both the ballast and the propeller for a collaborative and constructive bilateral relationship. And that's what Ambassador Zhang has tried to help us provide. And I know with the work of all of you, because it's more than the government. It's our businesses, it's our diplomats, it's our scholars who can help both Americans on this side of the Pacific and Chinese across the Pacific better understand each other and create opportunities for us to work constructively together. I strongly believe that the private sector has an enormous role to play. And so as this fine ambassador returns home, we surely wish him well. He returns to the foreign ministry. We're going to bother you a lot. And you must understand that you've made a lot of friends here. So we want you both to come back and visit often. So I thank you very much for inviting me. I know you all join me, and I believe I'm the last to speak, in wishing our two ambassadors from China everything good in the future, and that they come back and see us often. So thank you very much.